Just a little bit of a warning. One, I've had a lot of coffee today. That amplifies the fact that I'm already a fast talker, and so hopefully you got your little notes that came in, and I will do my best to hit those, and that we can be thorough and quick, and hopefully my goal is that when you leave, you have some practical ideas and some systems and some things that maybe that you hear and you're like, oh man, I can take that, I can apply that, or something that's not even said that the Holy Spirit's like, hey, this is what you need to do. Here's your next step. My goal is that everything that we talk about, one of the things that we say on our team all the time is we want to create things that are scalable and sustainable. Okay? Scalable and sustainable. Those are the two words that we use all the time. Scalable and sustainable. Because we don't want to do anything now that can't grow with us as God continues to expand our church, our teams, and our impact. And so we want to continue to create things that are scalable, that can grow. And then also, we want to do things that are sustainable. Because we don't want to put things in place that we can't do or continue over the long haul, or that we're going to do for a few weeks and then we're going to putter out because it's just not sustainable in the long term. We want to do things that can grow with us and that we can sustain over time, because we believe it's faithfulness that produces fruitfulness, right? And so this is the breakout session. Also, my name is Chad Overton. Sorry, I forgot to say this. My name is Chad Overton, and this is the breakout session, Chaos to Clarity. We're talking about developing leaders who run with vision. Developing leaders who run with vision. And I don't know about you, if you lead teams in any way, shape, or form, you've got people that you're trying to rally around, it can sometimes feel like herding cats. Anyone? Yeah. Okay. I'm a little bit about me. I'm a PK. I was born, never known anything but the church. I knew that I was called to ministry when I was 11 years old. I've never wanted to do anything else, and I've always been just passionate about the church. I love this and knew that God had called me to it. And so I've served the church in a million different ways, because as a PK, you pretty much are the workhorses of the entire church. Come on, any PK? All right, you got it. That's your testimony as well. All right, good. And so in some way, shape, or form, over the last 20 plus years, actually more than that, but I have served the church in volunteer capacities, in part-time roles where I was paid a little bit by the church, had part-time jobs or full-time jobs or multiple jobs, in full-time roles as youth pastor, worship pastor, and a million other hats that we wear, and then blessed to be full-time at one time as an associate pastor. I've been in rural communities of tiny churches, and I've been in metroplexes in larger churches. And so when I was associate pastor, I had a full staff of 30 plus people that I had to try to lead, in a school with 300 some kids in it, and all of those things that I was responsible for. And now I'm in my very first lead pastorate role, so pray for your boy, because this is stressful. So a little over a year ago, I stepped into my first lead pastorate role in North Fort Worth at Mission City Church, and so we're having a great time with that. But what I've learned over the years, in all the different contexts, I'm not going to continue to preface it, because I believe that the things that we're going to talk about aren't just for lead pastors or staff pastors or volunteer or full-time or full-time staff, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you lead people, if you lead teams, then a lot of these things are going to translate in how we develop leaders, and that's the goal, right? We want to build people around us and develop them and get them on the same page, because if we can get everybody going the right direction and understanding what the win is, man, we can make an impact in our cities and in our church and in the world, right? The hard part is just that. How in the world do you get all these different people in alignment to accomplish the one goal? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, about how to fight that chaos, how to get people on board, how to develop teams, and how to create things that are scalable and sustainable. This is kind of the big idea, and we're going to come back to it a few times because I think it's so important. But it's this: we don't get the team we dream of, we get the team we build. We don't get the team we dream of. We get the team we build. It's not always that you can go out and just hire all the Michael Jordans of the ministry world just to come and get on your team and you create a super team. Rarely does that happen, right? You don't get the opportunity to do that. We have to build this thing. And I think that's part of our call as leaders, is to build the people that God has entrusted us with and to develop them to carry the vision that we have. So how do we do this? Number one, on your got a little fill in the blanks for you if you want to follow along. Number one is this: we have to cast clear and compelling vision. Cast clear and compelling vision. I think this one is important, and it really sets the stage for everything else. It's been talked about in some of the sessions earlier, the impact and the importance of vision. But more than just having vision, having clarity of vision in a way that is articulated and it is clear for the other people. Let's get biblical with it. Habakkuk 2 says what? Write the vision down and make it plain, right? Why? So that people can run with it. That's what we want. We want people to run with it. And so we have to write it down. We have to articulate it in a way that is so clear, so compelling, that people can understand who we are, what we're trying to build, where we're trying to go, what God's doing, what is unique about this place and our leadership and our ministry and what He's called us to and the ministry that we're in, and articulate it in a way that people can grab a hold of it and they know that, no, one, I want to be a part of this. Two, I know how to be a part of this. Yeah. I know what my role is in this and why God's attached me to this place. And so casting a clear and compelling vision is really, really important. If you haven't already done this, I would encourage you at some point, a great practice for you on your own. Nobody can do this except for you as the leader. So you have to do this, but I think it would be great for you to do an exercise where you take some time and you describe, you write on a page of paper, what is it that you are trying to do, what has God called you to? What is the vision? What are people, if your vision comes to life tomorrow, what does it look like? How are people behaving? What are they saying? What impact is being made? What ministry is happening? What leaders are being built? What is the difference in the world? You know, what does it look like? What's it smell like? What's it sound like? Describe it on a piece of paper and articulate it. Because then, and only then, that's what vision is. Vision is something that's not even yet in the reality, that we have to try to help people understand where we're going. It's something that's in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirits, but we have to paint the picture for them with our words. That's all we have. We have our words. And so use your words to paint the picture for your people. Show them where you're going. Show them why it matters. Show them how it's worth it, and show them why them being a part of it is important. So help them see it. One of the practical ways that you can do this in real life is, while there may not be somewhere that exactly looks like what God's planted in your heart, there are places. Have you ever gone places and you're like, man, this is the closest thing that I have seen for the dream that God's placed in me, right? You go to a church or you go to somewhere and you're like, man, the way they do this, if I could build my church tomorrow, this is how I would want to build it, right? And so take them to those kind of places and expose them to those atmospheres or get around those leaders and tell them, hey, this is as close as I can show you to what God's put in my heart or what we're trying to go. So when you see this, understand this is where we're trying to go. This is what we're trying to do. This is the level of excellence, or this is the discipleship. This is the warmth that we're trying to build. Show them in real life. Talk about it nonstop. How many of you know vision leaks? Yeah. It leaks. So you got to talk about it all the time. Talk about it all the time. Remind them where they're headed and cast that clear and compelling vision. Unclear leaders create reluctant followers. If we're not clear about where we're going, people aren't going to run with us. They're going to kind of hang back because they're worried that where you're headed. They're going to slow down. They're going to be a little reluctant to follow. But if you can show them the hill that we're getting ready to charge, man, they'll link arms with you and they'll go up the hill. So we got to cast clear and compelling vision. Number two, I think this was really important. We want to create clear targets. We want to create clear targets. And this is what it means in a practical sense. We want to create targets or goals. We use the word goals for the people that we're leading, so that they know that if they do these things, if this is how they behave, or this is what they build, or this is the practices that they put, or this is the team, or the way that they lead, if they do those things, that we are winning. All right? If that's the end line. That's the goal. That's the finish line. That's the target. And so we want to create clear targets. Why? Because blurry targets don't produce bold action. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to tell them every move to make. I don't want to have to tell them constantly, hey, this is what I need you to do. This is how I need you to do this. This is this. You need to do these things. You need to carry this. No, I want people to take bold action, who just get it. Isn't it great when someone just gets it? Yeah. Right? So the only way that people are going to get it is we create those clear targets. Hey, this is what I'm wanting for you. Everyone wants to win. No one ever joins a team going, man, I hope we're lousy. Like, I hope we lose. Like, no one jumps on a team that's like, I hope we're terrible at this. No, people want to win. So let's show them what it looks like to win. Let's say, hey, that's the end zone right there. That's the end zone. And if you block, and if you run, and if you throw, and if you go that way, man, we're going to be able to get the ball across the end zone. Show them the clear targets, the way that the team wins when they do their job. For us, what this looks like is we create something called SMART goals. This is not revelatory. This is used in the business world a lot. But SMART goals means this. It means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's an acronym. We create SMART goals. And so we want to set goals for whether it's our volunteer leaders that are leading teams on Sundays, or our staff, or whoever it might be. We want to create SMART goals. And so we're going to be very specific about, hey, this is what I want you to do. Then we're going to make sure that it's measurable. Here is how we're going to measure whether it's successful or not. Meaning that measurable means there has to be a number attached to it, or there has to be some definitive marker of saying you accomplished it or you didn't, right? We got to be able to measure it. 3, it needs to be achievable, which means that we want it to stretch you. We want it to be challenging to you, but we don't want it to be so far out there that you lose hope and you stop trying. We want it to be something that can be accomplished with your best effort. And then we want it to be relevant, meaning that whatever it is, we want to make sure it's moving the overall vision of the church forward. We're not going to give you a goal for something that doesn't move the vision forward, that doesn't reach people or make an impact. And then lastly, this one is super important. It's time bound, which means that we have deadlines. We say by this date is when we want to see this done. What that does, it creates clarity. It shows your people this is how we win. In a game, there is a deadline. There's a buzzer that goes off. There's the last out of the baseball game. There's a time when if the goal's not met by that time, you lose. We want to make sure that people understand how to win. Because unclear targets create unproductive teams. Unclear targets create unproductive teams. Now, I want to give a little bit of a caveat here, because before I was a lead pastor, for long before that, I was on different staffs, again, in volunteer, part-time, and full-time basis in different contexts. And this is what I hated as a staff person. I'm gonna give you a testimony here. I could not stand that my pastors would go to a conference, and when they would come home, the target moved. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Right. This is who we are. This is where we're going. And then what do? Man, I was a youth pastor. I'm like, okay, I want to champion this vision. I want to be a good staff member. I want to make sure that I do this. And I'm working towards it, and I'm going towards it, and I think I'm winning. And then he reads a new book, listens to a new podcast, and then come home, and then all of a sudden I realize I'm not winning anymore. Right. The target's over here now. So consistent targets and clear targets, once those targets are set, be consistent. Leave them alone. Don't change with every shifting wind and every great idea or every new Chris Hodges quote. Find the targets that move your vision, what God's birthed in your heart, and keep them solid, because unclear targets will create unproductive teams. Number 3, we got to communicate consistently. Communicate consistently. I'm a big baseball fan. I love baseball, and I'm a little bit of a baseball purist, so I don't know how I feel about this, but I don't know if you've noticed in baseball, the catchers now have earpieces instead of doing signs. The pitchers have voices in their hats, and instead of doing signs, the first baseman they're getting pick calls from their hats and all these things, earpieces. Why? Because even in baseball, what they're learning is they need more consistent communication than just between the innings. They need to be able to talk and update and give things more consistently. Quarterbacks now have voices in their helmets where they're calling plays and reading defenses and all these types of things, because communication on a consistent basis, not just before game, after game, but mid-game communication is important. And so with our teams, often what happens is we have maybe reviews or we have these things that happen, but they're too far spread out, and we're not getting consistent communication where we're pushing that vision down and we're saying this is what the priority is, this is what the win is. And so over time, there begins to be a deviation. What started in the beginning in unity, we've got a little chart here, we'll show you. What started in unity, even if they started with a 1 degree variance, that 1 degree over time creates a vector, and then you get 6 months down the road, and someone that you once thought was the perfect person on your team, you're looking at going, I just don't even know if they can continue. I might need to fire this person. I don't know if they're still fitting. I don't know if they're catching the vision. I don't know if they're still with me. But it was because there was a 1 degree variance. They didn't all the way understand what their goal was or what your vision was or what you expected from them. And it wasn't addressed or communicated with, or it went too long. And so over time, now all of a sudden you have someone that's so far apart, you're going, man, I just don't know if they get it. And so communicate consistently. Communicate consistently. Assertive, proactive communication. Don't let things fester, but create rhythms that will take the awkwardness out of it. From huddles or check-ins or meetings or whatever it is, whatever you do, just create communication venues, because everyone wants to know where they stand. Everyone wants to know if they're winning. And so give them the confidence that they're heading in the right direction. Vision alignment is not a one-time meeting. It is fought for day by day and play by play. Vision alignment is not just a one-time meeting. It's fought for day by day and play by play. So consistent communication is so, so important. Number 4 is this. You got to coach them up. You got to coach them up. Why? Because you don't get the team you dream of. You get the team you what? Build. I will die on this hill. I believe it with everything I have. Coaching is caring. Everyone thinks of coaching. They think of hard. They think of abrasive. They think of someone being a jerk like coaching. And it's a lot of times it's because we have created unhealthy cultures where feedback is always negative and it's not right. But I believe coaching is caring. Coaching is so important. And it's because of this. Again, I'm a big baseball guy. I love the game of baseball. I've got 2 teenage boys now that play high school baseball, and I'm really missing that. I don't get to coach them anymore. I'm not going to lie. I have a hard time on this side of the fence. Mainly because I'm obnoxiously opinionated about what should be happening on the field. All right? But regardless, I coached my boys from the time they were little bitty guys, and this is what I know. When you coach these little bitty guys, you're going to judge me for this. It's okay. But you get this team of boys, and you know real quick which ones have potential and which ones have bad genetics. You know what I'm talking about. You know real quick which ones that you're going to coach and which ones you're going to go, hey, it's okay. You did your best, baby. Just, you're still going to get your IC at the end of the game. Because no matter how hard you try, some of these kids simply are never going to be baseball players. Right? So I didn't coach as hard the kids that I knew didn't have it in them. See, when we don't coach our teams or people, what we're saying is, I don't believe it's in you. If I care about them, if I see something in them, if I believe there's more in them that I want to point it out, I'm going to coach them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to say, hey, this, let's tweak this. Let's fix this. You responded the wrong way there. Or, hey, I believe there's more. I don't think that was your best. Whatever it is, coaching is caring. And so if we're going to fight for this alignment and we're going to develop these people, we have to be willing to coach. Healthy feedback, the key word there is healthy. Don't be a narcissistic jerk of a leader. Healthy feedback is a gift. It is a gift. And we should give that to people. Now, with that being said, we should not only ever point out what's wrong, we should show them how to get it right. It's a this, not that. Hey, not this way, right? We're going to show them how to get it right. I also believe that coaching is a big part of coaching is that we give them the resources that they need for success. And so if they're missing the mark somewhere, then let's hey, what do we have to do? Is it, hey, I want you to read this book, or I want you to listen to this podcast, I want you to go visit this, see how they do it. Whatever it is, show them, model it, invest in their growth. Give them a mentor, connect them with somebody in your network that's good at what they're struggling in. Whatever it is, just coach them up and be willing to make that investment. Because people deserve and they desire to know how they're doing. And they also deserve and desire to grow in their leadership. People deserve and desire to know how they're doing, and they deserve and desire to grow in their leadership. And the way that that's going to happen is if we're willing to coach. Because you don't get the team you dream of, you get the team you build. Number 5, last thing here. And then I'm going to give you some practical systems that we use. Number 5 is this: you got to care about them. We're in the people business. All right? People aren't just cogs in our ministry machine. These are disciples. These are followers of Jesus Christ. These are image bearers. These are sons and daughters of God. And here's the deal. People build the ministry. It is our job to build the people. It's our job to build the people. And you can't do that if you don't care about them. Invest in them. Know them. Love them. Honor them. Build a culture of relational investment. It was said earlier today, and I'm so glad that it was, because I thought it was so true. But the days of the disconnected, holier than thou, separate from everyone else leader they're over. People desire relational, investing people to come alongside them. And when the fastest way for people to understand what God has put in your heart is for you to get with them and to give them your heart. Like, if you want people to run with your vision, you got to be around them for them to catch it. Because that passion is a fire. And if you'll get around them, you'll care about them, you'll spend time with them, and you'll invest in them, man, they'll catch what's on your heart and they'll run with it. But you got to care about them. Use your ministry to build people. Don't use people to build your ministry. So how do we do this? For us, we've got some systems that we use. They're not perfect. You can use some of them. You can use all of them. You can pick and choose. I encourage you to contextualize this to you. But these, at some level, are systems that I have used in all the different areas of my ministry. When I was volunteer, when I was leading volunteers, when I was part-time, when I was a youth pastor, and I had college kids and parents on my team, I did versions of this with them as well. When I full-time staff, big staff, small staff, doesn't matter. In some way, these are scalable, sustainable systems that we can use that help us to align people. And so this is one of the things that we do. First, annually, what we do a 360 review, and we set SMART goals. We talked about SMART goals, what they are already. What a 360 review is, what we want to, we always get feedback from people who are above, beside, and beneath the other people in our organization. So if it's my youth pastor, I'm going to send out a questionnaire to his peers, other staffers, and then also to some of his key leaders about what is it like to lead with Pastor Parker, our youth pastor. I'm going to ask them some questions about, and then we're going to get feedback. We're going to coach. We're going to align. I'm going to give feedback on what it's like to try to lead him. His coworkers are going to give feedback about what it's like to try to work with him. All these things, because we're coaching, we're developing, we're building them into what we want them to be, right? And so we do these 360 reviews, and then on top of that, on an annual basis, we set SMART goals. And together, we find a few goals that we have found will move the vision forward in his area of oversight, or that person's area of oversight, even if it's a volunteer or somebody leading a team. That we create a goal or a set of goals for them that if they accomplish these goals, then it's going to move the overall vision of the organization forward. That what God is trying to do in and through our church will be propelled if they hit these goals. And so we create those SMART goals. Again, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We create those goals together. And for us in our organization, this has not always been like this, but this is something that I've done over the last few years. I also incentivize when those goals get hit. Because when you score a touchdown, you should cheer, right? Yeah. Like when a goal is hit, you should celebrate. And so there needs to be some kind of celebration when those goals get hit. I haven't found anything that feels more like celebration to people on church staffs than money. Mainly because we're all poor, right? No, so seriously, as if you're a lead pastor, I would highly recommend that you maybe consider this. All of our team has an opportunity to essentially give themselves a 10% raise in bonuses if they hit all of their goals for the year. Why? Because when you win, we win, so you should win, right? If they do those things, our church is going to grow. We're going to be further. We're going to make a bigger impact, and you should win. Like you should get a little something. So we create incentivization for specific goals that are met. What does that do? One, it creates passion and drive. Two, they're going to be pretty prone to track it, and they're going to let me know whenever they hit it. Hey, I hit my goal. Where's my money, right? So no, if you don't have the funds to do that, or if you're dealing with volunteers or whatever, what I would encourage you to do, find something that motivates or celebrates or appreciates that person, and attach it to that goal so that you can make sure when the goal is hit, a celebration dance happens. All right, where you're in the end zone celebrating together. So we create those SMART goals. On a quarterly basis, this one's really fast. On a quarterly basis, we do a checkup, and we check in on those. And I'm asking questions like, hey, what are the obstacles to you reaching this goal? Where are we at? What's the progress on it? Have we already hit it? Do we need to set a new one? Do we feel like it's still relevant and makes sense for the season that we're in? Are there adjustments that need to be made? Whatever. We're doing a quarterly check-in and analysis, because the last thing I want is to go a full year, get to the end of the year, they didn't hit any goals, and we didn't have any conversation about why. And they're like, well, it's because this happened, and so I never could hit those goals. No, let's check in and see where we are so that we can adjust. Because again, when they win, we win, and it moves the vision forward. So on a quarterly basis, we do that, and then monthly we do something we call one-on-ones. This essentially it's our model for care and discipleship and coaching. And we use something called head, heart, hand. Head, heart, hand. Again, I did not create this. I wish I did. But what head, heart, hand is I'm asking questions in every one of these one-on-one meetings with my staff or with my volunteer team. And this is the template for our discussion. Head. Hey, talk to me about your mental health right now. What's your stress level like? Are you battling any depression or anxiety? What's your self-talk like? Where's the enemy attacking your mind right now? I'm asking questions about, hey, what's your mental? Because the last thing I want is for them to have a small deviance, and then over time, them come to me and be like, I am in the depths of depression, right? And you never once asked how I was, right? I don't want that. And so I'm asking these questions on a monthly basis. How's your head? Secondly, we ask, how's your heart? What's your spiritual health like? Talk to me about your spiritual rhythms. What are you reading in the Bible right now? What's the Holy Spirit speaking to you in God's Word? Talk to me about your prayer time right now. What's God speaking to you? What's He drawing on you? What's He convicting you? What's the area that you are most susceptible to the enemy in your spirit right now? What's the crack in the wall that you might need to shore up? We're having these questions, again, on a regular basis, checking on their heart, their spiritual health. Thirdly is hand, and that's your occupational health. We're asking questions like, hey, talk to me about your teams. How are you feeling about your job? Are you able to get all your tasks done? How's your time management? How are the people that you're leading? Do you feel like that your workload is in? Is your work-life balance, family balance, how's that? Is that healthy? Are you meeting deadlines? Where are you at on these goals? We're asking all of these questions, again, on a monthly basis so that we can course correct if we need to, so that we can care if we need to, so we can disciple when we need to. But we want to create healthy leaders, build the team that we want, right? And so this is one of the systems that we use in order to do that. And then lastly, on a weekly basis, this requires no work on my part, or the leader's part requires no work. and it literally takes 5 minutes. It's a quick report that everyone sends to me via email. And it's just this: I want to know what the 5 big things are. And the 5 big things report is this: how can I pray for you this week? They're all P's. How can I pray for you this week? The second one is, what are your priorities this week? Because again, if I get that report and I see that their priorities are, shaving 3 strokes off their golf game, then we're going to have a conversation, right? So what are your priorities this week? Then I'm going to be asking, what are the problems that you're facing this week? Do they have an obstacle that they need help? Do they need some leadership on? Do they need coaching on? I'm going to be asking, what are you planning this week? That one's really important to me because I want people that aren't living with their nose down, just living in the day-to-day. I want people who are looking ahead with vision. And so they're planning and they're preparing and they're strategizing. So I always say, what are you planning? And then the fifth one is one of the most important ones to me. And that is, what people are you spending time with this week? Because what I have learned in my own life and in the life of our teams, whether volunteer or staff, we can get so busy doing that we stop spending time with people. And so I don't want people that just do tasks. I want people who are making disciples. And so I ask, who are you spending time with? Who are you discipling? Who are you taking to lunch? What leader are you building this week? What person are you encouraging this week? And so I ask for those 5 big priorities, or 5 big things report: prayer, priorities, problems, planning, people. And that this is the system that I've had, again, in some way, shape, or form, from being volunteer to part-time to full-time to associate leading larger teams to pastor leading smaller teams. In some way, shape, or form, I've tried to apply some of these principles, because what I have found is if I am building leaders, pastoring people, caring for them, having these conversations, these check-ins on a regular basis, I can build a team that can run with vision. So on this last slide here, there is a QR code. If you want to get your phone out and scan it, all of those systems that I just talked through, I've created docs for you, just templates that you can steal them. All right, use them, apply them, contextualize them to something that fits you. But in there'll be a template for the 5 big things on a weekly basis. There'll be a template that has some questions and all for the head, heart, hand one-on-ones. There'll be a template for the the quarterly check-ins, and the 360 review and SMART goal planning. It's all there in a Google Drive. And so did it work for everybody? If it doesn't work for somebody, just let me know and I'll email it to you, or I'll print it off and send it to you in the mail if that's what you prefer. Whatever you want. I can chisel it in stone if you want me to. I don't care. So these are just some systems, because again, our goal as leaders is to hopefully build leaders that have clarity of vision, that can run with it, that stay united, so we can accomplish what God's called us to do. These are some systems and processes that we have found that work. So with that being said, I'm going to open up for any questions, comments that you may have, or anything. We can go from there. Yeah, back here.
The 5 big things report, what point of the week they said at the very beginning? Is there a deadline that they have to send it to you by?
Yep. So by noon on Monday is our system. So I expect to have that in my inbox. We use a software called Basecamp. I don't know if you have ever used Basecamp or not. We use a software called Basecamp. I will say this: Basecamp's very powerful, very user friendly in my opinion. It can be a little bit expensive. In fact, the prices just went up, and it ticks me off. But that's one of the things that we use for communication. So for us, I create a to-do in Basecamp with a reminder that, hey, this has to be in pastor's inbox by 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. on Monday mornings. And pause 2 seconds. I'm coming to you. With that, I also tell them, hey, you're going to send this to me. I don't have to respond to you on this. And so again, I'm reading it, but unless there's a course correction needed, or an encouragement needed, or hey, I'm praying for this, they may not even get a response from me. So it doesn't require work on my end. It's just this is keeping me informed so that I know if there's an adjustment that needs to be made. So, okay.
So you can do about a year?
A year and a half, yes, sir.
So, would you, and being admitted on the account, don't mind, you would realize that first year you're just there, present.
Yeah.
So your base camp, with all the people that you had work with, as your first pastor, how's that been for you?
Using Basecamp?
No.
Or this system?
The whole thing. 20 people to try to deal with?
Yeah,
I'm being personal.
no, yeah, for sure. I came from a larger church in Arkansas, and that's where I was an associate pastor, oversight of 30 plus staff and our preschool, elementary schools and all that, to a church in North Texas where I inherited just a handful of staff, smaller team. And what I have found is, it is, for me personally, this is one of the most life-giving things that I get to do, because I get to pastor people. This is face-to-face in there. It is so different. I've also found that in the lead pastor seat, when I was associate pastor overseeing our staff, this was like my primary job, right? This was like one of my primary responsibilities. Now, this is the thing I desire to do the most, and I have to fight for the time the most, because all these other things that what I found over the last year is that my time gets fought over a lot, and it's harder to prioritize this. But because I believe that this is so important to the healthy organization of the church and the mission alignment, I really have to prioritize and fight for this. But
So you see this as your path forward.
100%.
Growing your.
Yes, 100%. Because I can't lead my church alone. I've got to have a team that get it, and the only way that they're going to get it is if I spend time with them and do these things with them. So, yes, ma'am.
Hey, so when you set time goals versus SMART goal setting, it's time bound, are those goals for a year? Are they a year out?
Depends on the goal.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the goal. So depending on the goal, some of them may say, hey, by this first quarter, I want to see these things accomplished. And so some goals may take a whole year, right? Some goals may take, and then some goals are more, hey, by this month or by this time of the year, whatever it is. We set a date on the calendar as this is the finish line. This is when the buzzer goes off. This is where we're going to know whether you won or lost. And it doesn't mean that we stop working on that if they lost. It just means, hey, we may not necessarily met the goal, but we're going to keep working on it. Here's the new date that we're going to start pushing towards. Yes, sir.
Having come from a large church, what's some of the tensions you find yourself in with working with maybe volunteers? Because obviously a large church looks different than working in a small church with volunteers. What's some of the tensions you found with producing this and working alongside people?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest tension was that when they're paid to be there, the access is easier, right? Because they're on campus, you're there, and especially if I'm in charge, I get to dictate when the meeting is and when they're going to show up, right? So that's a blessing. With volunteers, I'm on their clock, and so even now, for instance, there's a guy that I meet with on Monday mornings. We meet at 6:30 a.m. because I want to meet with him. It's the moment that I'm going to have to invest in his life. That means we're going to meet at coffee at 6:30 in the morning. But it's because he's so valuable to me.
Sure.
That investment's so important. I'll get up early and go meet him for coffee. So probably the tension is that when it's staff, when they're on campus, I get to dictate some of that, and it makes it really easy. With volunteers, larger teams, people that aren't there, that aren't paid to be there, I have to be way more intentional and way more flexible to go get in their world, on their turf, or at their available times to make it work. It can be done, but you gotta get creative, and you have to be so intentional, or it'll never happen. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
And that's the value of doing this yourself, so yourself, you're around to do it all.
Yeah, the expectation is, that's exactly right. I hope you guys heard that. So the expectation is that I'm doing these things with my staff, but my expectation is that my staff is doing that with their lead volunteers, that their teams, And then hopefully, as we build this culture of discipleship and care and leadership development, even our high-level volunteers, and then meeting with some of their other volunteers, go, if nothing else, just for I encourage them to, hey, go do Head, Heart, Hand, and it'll change. Like, it's a great guide for a conversation. Just with your lay people in your church, hey, talk to me about what your headspace is like. Talk to me about your spiritual health. Hey, talk to me about how, you've been serving in this on Sundays. How's that team going? Like, you can do that with anybody. And so the expectation is that this gets passed down. It's almost like this was almost the model of like the way this is supposed to work. Like you do it with a few, and then they do it with a few, and it's a big pyramid scheme is what it is, guys. And so we're just excited to bring people into it, right? What I've learned is even when you're at the top, you don't make any more money in this one, though. I'll tell you that. It's it. We're getting some goals. Any other questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Would you recommend implementing something like this all at once, or bringing certain pieces in your staff? Or
So you know fully the context and the community that you're in. What I would say is, if I were only going to implement one or two things, the first thing that I would implement is one-on-ones with SMART goals. Those things, because those SMART goals are creating the targets that you can keep people accountable to, and you can create that alignment. And the one-on-ones are ensuring the health and alignment as you go. And so if I could only pick two, I would say let's create some very clear targets for what success and winning looks like in our department or area ministry, and then let's create this discipleship pattern to make sure that we're still going in the same direction. Yeah. But only you know your context and the health of your teams or what they desire or need the most. Any other questions, comments, snarky remarks? Cool. Yeah, one.
So if we have more questions for how do we get in contact with you?
Yeah. I'll give you my cell phone number, my email. I don't care. I'm the most normal dude ever. I'm like woefully average, and so like you're gonna be largely unimpressed with me, I promise. But I would be happy to give you anything that I have. And if you want that, come holler at me. I'll be happy to share that with you. Can I pray for you? Lord, man, we are just so humbled today, God, that you have entrusted your people to us. We don't take that for granted because we know how much you love these people. God, the teams that you've entrusted to us, the people that attend our church, the people that volunteer on our teams, that show up every weekend. God, we're just so thankful for them. Our greatest desire, Lord, is to see them grow to be more like you, to build your kingdom, to have kingdom impact, to glorify you. And so, Lord, I pray against every spirit of division that would create chaos in our teams, in our churches, in our lives. And I pray, Lord, that you would help us to have strategic and intentional minds of how to bring people in alignment with what you are doing in these places, in these times, in this day. Lord, give us an anointing to lead people well, to love them, to care for them, to bring order to things that are chaotic. Lord, our greatest desire is that we can build your kingdom and bring you glory. So help us to do that through the people that we lead and through our own lives. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out today. Again, if you need anything from me, I'm happy to share.